student. Today's lecture for BSc third year zoology student, and the topic of lecture is ecology. The definition of ecology is the study of the relation of organism or group of organism to their environment, or the science of the interrelationship between living organism and their environment, or we can say the totality or patterns of relations between organism and their environment. And there are some level of organization system in ecology, regularly interacting and interdependent components forming a unified full biosystem. There is a population. It denotes a group of individual organisms of the same species in a given area. And the community is a group of population of different species in a given area. So we can say the ecological system is the whole biotic community in a given area plus its abiotic environment. There are subdivision of ecology. Taxonomic features included plant ecology, animal ecology, avian ecology, insect ecology, bacterial ecology, fungal ecology, behavioral ecology, mycorrhizal ecology. Habitat. The study of ecology based on the basis of the habitats and their interaction and the subsequent effect upon the. There are some level that is called the organization level of ecology. Number one is art ecology, in which we study the individual organism, and number two is syn ecology, in which we study the group of organisms which are associated together as a unit. There are some types of syn ecology. Number one is population ecology. It deals with study of pure range of individual belonging to a single species, that is population size, growth rate, death rate, survival rate, etc. Community ecology, in which we study the group of individuals belonging to different species of plants as well as animals. And the biome ecology, we study the interaction among different communities of a particular area. And in ecosystem ecology, it deals with circulation of energy and nutrients among biotic and abiotic components of. Now we come to concept of ecology, concept of ecosystem. The system resulting from the interaction of all the living and non-living factors of the environment. Based on interaction and exchange of materials, communities is a given area intact with physical environment. This flow of energy leads to trophic structure, biotic diversity, and material cycle. It is an overall interaction of a full mosaic of interacting organisms and their environment. Ecosystem is the highest level of ecological interaction, which is energy based, and this functional unit is capable of energy transformation, accumulation, and circulation. In a natural ecosystem, it is a self-operating under natural conditions, no interaction by man. And natural ecosystem is further divided into terrestrial ecosystem. The example of terrestrial ecosystem is forest and grassland. Number two, aquatic ecosystem, which deals with the water. And aquatic ecosystem consists of freshwater ecosystem. And further, the freshwater ecosystem is divided into lotic and landic ecosystem. Lotic means the running of water. The example of lotic ecosystem is river, stream, spring, etc. And the landic ecosystem is standing water, lake, pond, well, and so on comes under standing water system, or we can say landic ecosystem. Next one is a marine ecosystem. The example of marine ecosystem is ocean, sea, and. Now we come to artificial ecosystem. There are different aspects of ecosystem. Number one is structural or architectural aspect. The composition of biological community including species, numbers, biomass, life history, etc. The quantity and distribution of non-living materials like nutrients, water, etc. The condition of existence such as temperature, light, etc. And number two aspect is functional, that is working process, and it include the rate of energy flow, the rate of material, that is nutrient cycle, biological regulation including both regulation of organism by environment, photoperiodism, and regulation of environment by the organism nitrogen fixing. The abiotic component, that is non-living components, includes inorganic substances, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, etc. Inorganic chemicals, chlorophyll, organic materials, protein, carbohydrates, lipid, etc. They are present either in biomass or in the environment. And the biotic, that is living components, these are the trophic nutritional structure of ecosystem, trophic feeding. Based on nutritional relationship, they are distinguished as autotrophic or self-nourishing component. They use light energy to make food from simple inorganic substance, water and carbon dioxide. Photosynthesis, known as producers. The example is green plant, algae, photosynthetic bacteria. And the heterotrophic or other nourishing components utilize, rearrange, and decompose the complex materials produced by the autotrophs, known as consumers. Example, fungi, animals, humans. Macro consumer, they are called the phagotrophs. They feed on their organic and particulate organic matter. Herbivores feed on plants and they are called primary consumer. Carnivores or predators feed on other animals. They are called secondary consumers. Omnivores feed on plants and animals and they come under tertiary consumer. Micro consumer, they are called the saprotrophs. They are microscopic organisms. They are bacteria, actinomycetes, fungi, etc. They break down complex compound of the dead or living protoplasm. They absorb some of the decomposed breakdown product. They also release inorganic nutrients into the environment. The functional territory of nature. It's come some point. Number one is trophic level. The trophic structure of an ecosystem is one kind of producer-consumer arrangement, where each step or level is known as trophic level. Number two is standing crop. The amount of living material in different trophic levels or in a component of population is known as standing crop and is expressed as number of organisms per unit area. And the biomass, that is organism mass in a unit area measured as living weight, ash-free dry weight, carbon weight, calories, etc. Ecological pyramids. An ecological pyramids is also trophic pyramid or energy pyramids is a graphical representation designed to show the biomass or biomass productivity at each trophic level in a given ecosystem. Pyramid of numbers. As you can see in the diagram, it depicts number of individual organisms at each trophic level. Pyramid of biomass. You can see in the diagram that showing the total dry weight, calorific value of or other measure of the total living material. Pyramid of energy depict the rate of energy flow and or productivity at successive trophic level, and it always draw upright. Pyramid of numbers in grassland ecosystem, and it is always be upright in shape as you see in the diagram. This pyramid consists of a plot of relationship between the number producers, herbivores, that is primary consumer, first level carnivores, secondary consumer, second level carnivores, this is tertiary consumer. As you see in the diagram that producers are green grass or some plants are there, and the primary consumers, you can see them some insects, And the secondary consumer, you can see those animal who depends on fully dependent on, or you can say those who feed on the primary consumer, that is insect, and the tertiary consumer who feed on secondary consumer or primary consumer too. In forest ecosystem, it is partially upright in shape, and you can see in the diagram. This pyramid consists of a plot of relationship between the number of producers, herbivores, that is primary consumer, first level carnivores, secondary consumer, and second level carnivores, that is tertiary consumers. In parasitic food chain, it is always inverted in shape. If you go for the parasitic food chain, you always draw pyramids inverted in shape. This pyramid consists of a plot of relationship between the number of producers, herbivores and carnivores, that is primary consumer, parasites, secondary consumer, hyperparasites, that is tertiary consumer. Pyramid of numbers. There are some advantages or disadvantages of this pyramid. Are easy to count, ignore size of organism, no organism can kill, difficult to convert grass plant leaves to number which are worth comparing to others, do not present the true picture of food chain, do not indicate the relative effect of geometric, food chain and size factor of the organism. Since many communities live with different types of food chain in the same environment, it is difficult to represent in same numerical. Pyramid of biomass. It gives a rough picture of the overall effect of food chain relationship on the ecological group. It shows the quantitative relationship of standing crop measured as dry weight in gram per square meter. Now in lake ecosystem, grass from base of the pyramid, and it is always we draw upright in shape. And in coral reef ecosystem, the large trees from base of the pyramid, and it's partially upright in shape. And in pond ecosystem, plant from base of the pyramid always inverted in shape. The pond, so you can say that the pond ecosystem, if you draw a pyramid under a term pond ecosystem, you always draw it inverted. So the pond ecosystem always inverted in shape. Pyramid of energy. It gives the best overall picture of the nature of an ecosystem. The number and weight of organism at any level depends on the rate at which food is produced. Unlike the other two cases, this deals with rate of passage of food mass through the food chain. Its shape is not affected by the size and metabolic rate of it. Productivity concept of ecosystem. Productivity of an ecosystem is defined as the rate at which radiant energy is stored by photosynthetic and chemosynthetic activity of producers organism in the form of organic substances that can be used as food materials. The amount of organic matter accumulated in any unit time is called productivity. The different types of productivity are primary productivity, secondary productivity, and net productivity. The different types of productivity are primary productivity, the rate at which radiant energy is stored by photosynthetic and chemosynthetic activity of producers. Example, green plant, phytoplanktons. Secondary productivity, the rate of energy is stored at consumer levels. It is dynamic, that is keeps moving from one organism to another. Consumer assimilate and not produced. This concept is given by. Number 3 is net productivity, the rate of storage of organic matter not used by the heterotrophs, that is consumers, during the unit period of time. It is the rate of increase of biomass of the primary producers which has been left over by the consumers. It is expressed as production of carbon, gram per square meter per day is also called as net community productivity. The different type of primary productivity are gross primary productivity, the total rate of photosynthesis including the organic matter used up in metabolism for a particular period of time, total photosynthesis or total assimilation, and it's measured as chlorophyll content, chlorophyll per gram dry weight per unit area of photosynthetic number, that is amount of carbon dioxide fixed per gram chlorophyll per hour. Net primary productivity, the rate of storage of organic matter in excess of metabolic utilization by the autotrophs during the period of measurement, that is apparent photosynthesis or net assimilation. So we can say the net primary productivity equal to gross photosynthesis minus respiration, that is metabolic, and death, etc. Now we come to food chain. The transfer of food energy from the producers through a series of organism behavior, carnivores, decomposers with repeated eating and being eaten is called food chain. And in grassland ecosystem, this food chain consists of relationship between the producers, herbivores, that is primary consumer, first level carnivores, that is secondary consumer, a second level carnivores, that is tertiary consumer, etc. Food chain are mainly of two types. Number one is grazing food chain, number two is detritus food chain. The grazing food chain start with green plants base, goes to grazing herbivores. Grazing herbivores means the organism that eat plant and their predators. And finally to the carnivores, flesh eater, those who feed meat. And we can say those feed on other animals. It also depends on capture of energy by the autotrophs and the movement of capture of energy to herbivores. Detritus food chain. This food chain starts from dead organic matter and then goes on the detritus feeding organism, detritivores, and their predators. They are less dependent on solar energy. Detritus consumers are mixed group with respect to trophic level are grazing insect, saprotrophic, saprotroph, that is fungi, bacteria, protozoans, caprophagy, this is coprophagy, is the consumption of fishes, crab, copepods, etc. and some insects that comes under this coprophagy. Detritus feeders obtain some energy from plants, mostly from microorganisms, secondarily some through carnivores, that is tertiary. Now we come under food web. Food web are important in maintaining the stability of an ecosystem. If one link is reduced, then that would cause increase of population of downstream and decrease the population of upstream. It will ultimately disturb the balance. Length of the food chain. Diversity is the organism based on their food chain, food habit would determine the length of the food chain. Substitute at various points of consumer in the chain. More than the substitute, more would be the networks that make the ecosystem stable. Now we come to ecologically energetics. The branch of ecological science that deals with the quantity, utilization, behavior or energy and energy flow in an ecosystem is called ecological energetics. And in ecological energetics, some pointers comes under this term: energy circuits, quantity of solar energy reaching an ecosystem, quantity of energy utilized for photosynthesis by producers, quantity of energy flow path in trophic component. Now, how energy flow in ecosystem? You can see in the diagram, the behavior of energy in an ecosystem is termed as energy flow. It is unidirectional. There is progressive decrease in energy content at each trophic level. As As you know, the first law of thermodynamics, the second law of thermodynamics that fit on the energy flow in ecosystem. What the first law of thermodynamics says that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be transformed from one to another. And what second law of thermodynamics says? That the energy transfer is always accompanied by dispersion of energy into unavailable heat. That is entropy. Now the ecological interaction. Population of two species are always interacting with each other from the viewpoint of nutrient resources, habitat and production. Two species can interact in many ways like no interaction or population growth, beneficial, favorable, or population inhibiting, harmful, adverse. So, so student, you go for better environment, and for the better environment, you conserve the nature, and by conserving the nature, you can make a very good and very balanced biodiversity of nature. Thank you.